Good morning, 8th graders. I hope to find you guys doing okay. Lesson 8-2 talks about characteristics of quadratic functions. The main vocabulary that we're going to be discussing in here is what we call the zeros of the function, the axis of symmetry, and the vertex. These things are characteristics of quadratic functions, and we can actually find them in the graph that represents a quadratic function, which you already know it is a parabola. Okay? By this moment, I am expecting you guys to have copied in your notebooks the summary that I sent previously so you can understand what I am talking about. I'm gonna get started with the zeros of the function, and I want you guys to follow along on page 531 of your books. I want you to take a look at this example over here, which is example number 1 on page 531. These over here are what we call the zeros of the function, and as I mentioned on the summary, the zeros of the function are those values for x that are going to make your quadratic function equal to 0. That means that if you enter any of those values for x, the final result that you're going to get at the end is a 0. Okay? You can determine the zeros of the function. We're going to be learning that later on. But one of the methods that you can use to determine the zeros of the function is by looking at the graph of the quadratic equation. The zeros of the function, when you look at the graph, are those points in which the parabola touches the x-axis. So I want you to take a look over here at example 1a. In example 1a, the points of the parabola, which is the red line over here, the red curved line, okay, the parabola touches the x-axis in number 2 and in -1 of the x-axis. So the zeros are going to be located at -1 and at 2. Over here, it touches the x-axis in 2 points. You're going to have situations in which the parabola touches the x-axis only in 1 point, like in this example over here. Over here, the parabola only touches the x-axis at this point in here, which is number 1. Okay? Remember that each square represents 1. So over here, the 0 of the function is located at number 1. And over here, you only have 1 point, which is 1. In case of example 1c, the parabola is not touching the x-axis, so you are not going to have any zeros of the function. The only way you can have zeros of the function and recognize them from the parabola is when the parabola touches the x-axis. That means it has to touch this line of the x-axis. If it does not touch the x-axis, then that means there are no zeros of the function. I want you to go over this example and over this video again so you can check it, because you're going to be working on exercises like this soon.